Hi. So I thought I'd fill a couple of you in on what's happening with my Focus ST because it's not a feature that I put on my YouTube, but it does do track days on my YouTube. But yet again, show season's been over since it broke. So basically, October time, I was happy enough plotting around in my GTO. It was on the road at the time, and I didn't use my ST. I was literally exclusively in my GTO. I was going everywhere in there. I'd done like 1,000 miles in the space of a month, I think it was. Went back into my ST, which is my daily, and I remember before it went off, before I stopped using it, it was only a space of like a week or two. Before I stopped using it and used the GTO, I remember the belt was squealing when I first started the car. They were new belts. They were, well, I say new, 6 months old. Tensioners too, both of them. And I thought, well, they shouldn't be a problem. They are new. So I started it up after about 2 weeks not using the car, using the GTO, and oh my god, it squealed and squealed and squealed, and I got over the bridge, just leaving the village where I live, and dunk, loud kind of dunk noise, and lost all power, really struggled to limp it home. Timing belt had slipped. There was bits of belt underneath the engine bay area. It was like down where the auxiliary belt is, the alternator and all that. It was still there. The auxiliary belt had split across the width, but in half. So say it's a 6PK, there was only like three or so ribs on it. And it turns out it's quite common for when the belt goes on these, it gets under the timing belt, causes a skip. So it was a case of 10 valves, intake valves, all bent, gutted. So now the engine has had a new head, all on, done up nice. And I drove it yesterday, and the noise was starting to, it was like a whirring noise, and I thought, I see the timing end, which it shouldn't be because I've replaced it all, or it's the belts again. And cut a long story short, I've now found out why that auxiliary belt went. So there's me blaming Gates, the company that make that belt. It wasn't them. The tensioner that I fitted about a year ago now was loose today, right now. So that would have been flapping as the belt was spinning the engine, and the belt obviously was suffering fatigue from that motion side to side, and that's why it snapped. So today now I've just realized the alternator tensioner, which is the inner one. Let me just so down there, alternator, there's one tensioner there you can see. That's for the aircon. Comes off the crank, which you can just about make out there. And then in a bit more, that one you can see there. That one is the alternator's tensioner. That was the one that was not done up. On this, it's crank to the the aircon pump, and then the inside of the aircon pump comes up and runs the alternator. It's going to do. So there you can see. So that is why I've had to spend £800 fixing my car. One alternator bolt loose. Oh, not alternator bolt, the tensioner for the alternator. I can't believe it. But it works now. And by God, trust me when I say I appreciate the car so much more now. So obviously the head was damaged. It was the slip timing belt. It bent 10 valves. There was compression on 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5. There was no compression, so it was a case of get a endoscope camera down the spark plug so you could see the indent on the piston, so it confirmed it. Took didn't take off. You could see they were alright, but it wasn't great. So I had to take the head off. I had a new head from BT Performance, and then it went from that to a full-blown upper rebuild in a sense. So the head's been refreshed and cleaned, and now it's had timing belt, water pump, you know, head gasket, all that stuff. But it's back and it's looking better than ever, so great. I'm not gonna lie, it's been hard work doing it all myself outside, but I got there in the end.